All right, welcome to 360 Live. It's Saturday afternoon here in South Africa, and just under 3 hours for that upcoming game between RCB and GT. A must-win for both teams. I missed last night's game between Mumbai Indians and KKR. Unfortunately, I attended a wedding with my family and was following the scores. I thought 169 was a very chaseable target for MI. Unfortunately, the season woes continue as they came up short. There seems to be some issues there in the top order. I know some of them have performed well, but mainly the middle order guys and Tilak Varma, Tim David. But it might just be time to have a look at someone like a Devil Brevis who hasn't had an extended run. I know I'm a bit biased there. I've been working with that guy, but I would love to see him in the team now that Mumbai is pretty much out of the tournament. Not yet. I won't go and call that as quickly as I'm doing now, but it's not looking good. And maybe some time or some opportunity for them to give some experience to some of the younger players. And I think Brevis is desperate for a bit of game time, a bit of experience at the IPL. Give him an extended run, and you might just see some magic come from that. But the log is pretty much balanced out. It's all to play for. As I pull it up for you guys there, still RR at the top of the log, playing fantastic cricket, very consistent. KKR with that much-needed win. I think they're about one win away from sort of cementing their spot in that knockout stages. And they are the two teams for today, RCB and GT. Both sort of in a spot of bother. We know RCB need to win all their games from here on in. GT have a little bit more room to breathe, but they will be very desperate for that win. Playing away from home for them today at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru. I'll definitely be glued in front of my television screen. I absolutely cannot wait for that entertainment. I think it's going to be one incredible game. Hopefully RCB, as I discussed in the show last week, hopefully they come up with some sort of a strategy, whether they win or lose the toss. As we've seen the best teams do, they have a strategy in place, whether they're setting a target or chasing down a target with regards to batting lineup changes, bowling game plans, bowling guys in certain areas where they might have a bigger impact on the game. So a very important game for both these teams. Hopefully RCB can pull together a good performance today. Absolutely cannot wait to watch the batting unit in action again today. The guys have been batting well. The top three look in good form, Virat and Will Jacks. As I mentioned before, it's great to see Will Jacks there, and he proved to everyone what he's capable of. And with that kind of form, walking into the Chinnaswamy Stadium, that's the kind of confidence you want. And that's the kind of confidence that's very dangerous for an opposing bowling lineup. They will certainly have been doing a lot of analysis, the GT bowling team. They will be nervous bowling to that top three. And then the rest of the batting lineup as well. There's a lot of firepower there in Maxi and DK. A few others, Cam Green obviously as well, who can hit a long ball. So that RCB batting lineup need to perform today to take a bit of pressure off the bowlers, who has not been in the finest form throughout this tournament. And hopefully they can find a bit of form today. As we look at the squad there for RCB, coached by Andy Flower, Captain Faf. Virat's been in fantastic form, just shy of that orange cap, which we'll cover in a minute. And then just a very well-rounded, balanced team who will hopefully play well today. As we pull up that chart that I just spoke about, there's Ruturaj Gaikwad, who overtook Virat recently, but I'm pretty sure 9 shy Virat will surpass him today. Touch wood. Hopefully another good game for Virat Kohli. And then there's the rest of the batters. Riyan Parag really stood out this season, batting in that middle order and having really impactful games for his team. Then the top wicket takers, Bumrah claiming the top spots again, was briefly claimed by Mustafizur, then Natarajan, and then obviously the class of the man coming through with that fantastic bowling performance yesterday. Wasn't enough at the end of the day, picking up 3 wickets. He's a star performer. And very interesting, I read a quote from Natarajan who said, if you can perform in this year's IPL as a bowler, you'll have the confidence to perform in any conditions, in any place in the world, in any part of the world. And that's very true, because the batting wickets, or the wickets have been batting friendly. It's been batters wickets throughout this tournament, very flat, high scoring games. And if you can come through as a bowler and sort of stand your ground, perform well consistently throughout this tournament, you're going to that World Cup with a lot of confidence, and you can go anywhere else in the world, in any league, any format of the game, and know that you can face the hardest of conditions, and that's batter-friendly conditions, and sort of make it work and make it count and have an impact, even though it's really easy for the batters. So keep posting your questions, guys. I know there's a lot of questions out there. I'll be covering as many as I can, as we will be covering mostly this GT and RCB game. And there's a tweet from Royal Challengers Bengaluru on X saying, "Get ready, RCB Gallery. Tonight's the night to wield our cricket sabers and continue the rebellion." Talking about the Star Wars birthday. May the 4th be with you. And hopefully Virat Kohli's incredible form against GT continues today. Look at those past scores in 2022, 58 and 73 at good pace. 101 not out in 2023, that's last year, and then 70 not out in that first leg in Ahmedabad this year. What will happen in the Chinnaswamy today? May Virat be guided by the force, the Star Wars force that is. And then we see an interesting picture there of Virat and Maxi in their Star Wars kit. To be honest, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't mind it. I haven't watched all of it. Maybe I should at some stage just pluck myself down in front of the screen, get my family and watch all the Star Wars films. I know there's a lot of huge fans out there around the world. It's never really taken to me for some reason. Please don't hate me for that. But yes, a really big game for Virat and the guys, for Faf. Some of the big players need to step up. They know what they need to do. As we mentioned before, it's one game at a time, yes, but at least the goalposts are very clear. It's right in front of them. They know they have to win every game, but they have to take it one small step at a time, right? So post your questions below, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I hope you have been enjoying the channel. Also, some of the other things that I do, like the 360 challenge, the point of view, as I wear those glasses. I try and keep it funky and fresh for you guys, keep you on your toes, and then keep you entertained. So subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and like the show as well. As I'm going to start taking some questions now. It's not going to be a long show. I have a fire to light up outside. I want to get the barbecue going, or a braai as we call it here in South Africa, get the family together, and then get that atmosphere ready for RCB to have a fantastic performance today. So Sports Hard. So what could be the possible danger for RCB tonight? There are quite a few dangers when it comes to the GT team. I think they have a few wounded buffaloes in someone like a Shubman Gill, who didn't make that World Cup side, who would want to prove to everyone that he should have been there and that he belongs there. In that starting lineup, in the squad of 15, he's a wonderful player and he's got a point to prove. Also, it's a very important game, so maybe pressure will play a big role. Can RCB handle the pressure moments well? I think they've got to a stage in this tournament where they almost felt like, we tried almost too hard in the first part of the tournament. Let's just let go, free up a bit, express ourselves. And that's when RCB play their best cricket. And hopefully we'll see some of that tonight and that the pressure won't get to them. But it comes down to the big moments at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. It's one batter seeing the ball well in the night and then really accelerating and making it count, capitalizing on his good form. It sometimes only takes 2 or 3 good overs to win a game there and really tilt the momentum in your favor. So I would say the big moments will play a role, the pressure moments, but I do think RCB is in a good place now not to let the pressure get to them. I felt like they sort of let go a bit. And last but not least, just the quality players of the GT team. I think of David Miller. If he comes off, there's usually trouble for the opposition. Someone like a Rashid Khan has had a very quiet tournament. He runs into the Chinnaswamy Stadium, which is not an ideal place to bowl for wrist spinners, but he's so good that at what stage in this tournament is he going to start clicking? And from a GT perspective, they would want that to be today. They need someone like him to bring that X factor to the party and to have a fantastic performance. So those are that's probably the 3 things that stand out to me. Obviously, the bowling department I've touched on have not been in the best of form throughout this tournament, but hopefully some of them stand up tonight and have a good game. Maybe someone like a Cam Green, who hasn't bowled a lot, come in and have a big impact as an all-rounder, not with a bat, or only with a bat in hand, but also with a ball, pick up a few wickets. I think that's his role, to come in the middle overs there and sort of to break a big partnership or two and then get out again and let the specialist bowlers take over. But that's that for now. I think RCB just need to stick to the basics, one small step at a time. I've mentioned to you what I think could be the challenges for today. It's age of fitness that keeps Sandeep Sharma and Natarajan away from international setup. Is it age of fitness? I think you mean their performance has been consistent. What are my thoughts? Yeah, that's a difficult one. The problem is competition, I would say. It's not age or fitness, I feel. Both fantastic bowlers. Both are really comfortable bowling in the IPL. They know the conditions well. It's all about balance in a team, and there's so much competition in that Indian setup. I mean, go through the names. It's just world-class bowlers, left, right, and centre. I do think they took a chance with an extra spinner this time around, making sure that department is well looked after. They're expecting the wickets in the US and the West Indies maybe to take a bit of turn, and therefore going for an extra spinner, which maybe is part of the reason why we don't see these names there. Natarajan have had his opportunities in the not so long ago, and maybe didn't take full advantage of those opportunities. But these are both fantastic bowlers. And as I told Yuji Chahal last year when I was there at the IPL, he was really down in the dumps, not being selected for any of the main events for India. He's feel he's missed out. Maybe he's been pushed and shoved around a bit throughout his career. All he really desperately wanted was always to put on the Indian jersey and to represent his country at the highest level in the biggest tournaments. And look where he is now. Sandeep Sharma and also Natarajan, don't give up. I know both of them have had a good season, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the story. Same with all the players that have missed out, the Shubman Gill, Rinku Singh. It doesn't mean this is the end of the road. It's in your hands as a player to sort of take it on board as you wish. And I'm happy to say that Yuji Chahal took it as a challenge when he was overlooked in that 50-over World Cup. He was down in the dumps. I was with him. I've never seen a man that down. And he had a choice to make, and he decided to take the right choice, and that was to keep fighting, see it as a challenge, see it as an opportunity to prove to everyone and to yourself that you belong there. And there he is, going to a World Cup, and I'm incredibly delighted with my friend with that selection. Moving on to the next question then, what is the better score that RCB needs to be chasing or to be defending today at the Chinnaswamy? Very difficult to say. I haven't seen the wicket. We're a few hours away from that game. Usually I get an idea, even seeing it on the television screen, by the color of the wicket. I can pick up whether it's if it's got different colors on the wicket. It might be a bit toothpaste sometimes. If it's got that shine and you see the spotlights giving it a bit of a glare, you know it's going to be a flat wicket, usually around 200, maybe 200 plus. But ballpark figure, I'd say at the Chinnaswamy, 180, you're always in the game. So if RCB batting first, set up for 180, and then always in the last 4 or 5 overs, the sky's the limit there. If you have the foundation in place, that 180 can very quickly become 210. So I think a foundation is really important. And that's why I was always pushing for Virat to be at number 3, because I want guys to expose the bowling lineups in the first 2-3 overs, take more risks. I don't want Virat to take risks in overs 1, 2, and 3. But I want him to guide the batting lineup. And then if you have that foundation with a Virat Kohli in overs 12 to 20, I mean, that's you can pretty much do a lot of damage there. Defending, I wouldn't want to see anything over 200. Anything under 200, you're in the game at the Chinnaswamy. Once again, when you're chasing, you need a base, you need a foundation. You don't want to be 30 for 3 or 4 and put that whole middle under pressure. You can always catch up at the end at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. It's one of the hardest grounds to defend that. But when you're batting first, it's also one of the hardest grounds to know what a good score will be. So very tricky because it's a small ground. It's high scoring generally. And when you start slowly as a batting unit, you sometimes tend to panic a bit early. So hopefully RCB can keep that composure, whether batting first or second. And always keep in mind you can catch up at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Thanks for that one. Keep sending your questions, guys. I'm going to cover as many as I can. I will cap it at around, well, another 10 or 15 minutes or so. We'll see how far we get. Respected AB, how does this dressing room environment impact the players' mindsets? It plays a huge role, and it starts from the coaching staff, right from the top all the way to the bottom, the reserve sitting on the side. It's always about the guys that are not in the heat of the battle, that have this incredible opportunity to add value to the team. And it's such an impactful thing to have in a dressing room when you have selfless characters and individuals sort of steamrolling that team together, lifting the players up. The playing 11, I never felt like that it was their opportunity to do that. You have a lot on your mind as a captain or as a batter or a bowler. You hear the crowd outside before you walk out for the warm-ups. You're sometimes a bit nervous. You feel the butterflies. But then it's up to the reserves to have that energy, to keep that drive, tap the guys on the shoulders, make sure they have drinks, make sure they have everything they need to get that preparation in place. And then for the coaching staff, I think to be calm and to be composed and be very clear with their messages that they want to get across to the players. So it plays a huge role. I always felt like those were the best dressing rooms I was a part of, when you had outside guys and characters adding value and putting energy into the basket. And then for the playing 11 to use that energy and to take it onto the field. And for the players, why I say that, for that 11, you don't want them to be overexcited before the start of the game. Yes, very focused, good energy, but more importantly, composure, a clarity of mind, and a freshness to understand what is the target today, what's our game plan, what's the goal, and what do we want to achieve in today's game. And to do the basics really well in a nervy game where there's a lot on the line, where you can't lose, I think that's the most important thing. And if you want to do the basics well, you need to be calm and composed. So I think that's the name of the game for the dressing room environment. And it's up to the coaching staff and the players on the side to make sure they bring a bit of energy in, and the 11 to be calm and collected. Faf not selected for the World Cup. Can this affect his chances for the next year retention in RCB? Fun fact, he is speaking in alternate years, 2021, 2023. Thanks, Anmol, and thanks for being a super fan and for adding value to this channel. Yes, I did touch on it. It was a bit of a surprise to me for not having him in the side, but have Quinny in. So I thought if they're going to dab at the guys who are not playing international cricket at the moment, they would get both of them in there because they're both world-class players, both very experienced. They've played a lot of cricket together. And I think from a leadership point of view, it would have been great to have him there. I cannot give you any detail because I haven't spoken to him or anyone from Cricket South Africa with regards to why he hasn't been picked up. Maybe it was his decision, maybe not. I have absolutely no idea. So maybe in a month or two's time, we'll know, and I'll be able to share with you guys on this channel. Maybe I'll try and find out and share it with you guys next week, whether it was his decision. Maybe he feels his best is past him and he just wants to focus on T20 cricket leagues around the world, where there's a little bit of less pressure on you. You don't have the weight of the nation on your shoulders. So it is a different feeling representing your country. And I'll try and find out what happened there. South Africa missing Devil Brevis in the squad. Yes, it's disappointing that he's not there, but there's nothing that tells me that he should have been selected. You got to go on stats, on performance, on recent form, and what has the player been doing. So unfortunately for Brevis, I so badly want to see him in that Mumbai Indian squad. He hasn't been playing a lot of cricket at the IPL. He did get a few chances, and that's where the problem lies. He didn't take those opportunities. It was the perfect platform for him to come in, to score some runs in the IPL. Then, boom, World Cup selection comes up, and he probably would have been there, or would have had a good chance. He also didn't have a fantastic SA20 tournament. He scored some runs at the back end of the tournament and sort of recovered very nicely. But he's still very young, guys. He's still a work in progress. There's a lot of potential, a lot of ability. We all know that by now. He's got to work through some of his challenges that he's going through right now. And it's very normal what he's going through. For a youngster in seasons 2, 3, it's always difficult to find your feet. When you come in season 1, it's a bit of a flash in the pan. All you're doing, you're watching the ball, you're playing. There's no pressure on you. All you're doing is doing what you've been doing your whole life, and that's just to hit cricket balls. And then you start thinking about it a bit. You want to become more consistent as a player. You work on your technique. You all of a sudden find yourself on the biggest stage in front of superstars that you've admired throughout your career, and you sit in the same dressing room as them. It can be intimidating. And also, I mean, you want to prove to everyone that the first season wasn't lucky. So you put a lot more pressure on yourself, and that's the most dangerous thing. And I think that's what's happened to him in the last year or so. There's still a lot of promise. Every now and then you see the fantastic flair that he's got, score some big runs, and then he goes quiet for 2 or 3 or 4 games and he comes through again. So we just need to work on that consistency, finding a blueprint that'll make him more consistent, that'll get him more opportunities to get good starts, to ultimately showcase his talent, because that's when the best players in the world show off. It's not from runs 0 to 20. No one wants to see that. People want to see you accelerate like a Will Jacks from 50 to 100 in 10 deliveries. He set the foundation there in Ahmedabad not long ago against GT, 50 or 31 balls. And then he says, okay, now I'm going to show everyone the world-class player that I am. I'm seeing the ball like this. I understand the condition of the pitch. I know exactly what the opposition is trying to throw at me. I'm prepared and I'm ready to go. So that's where the smart players operate. And I'm not saying Brevis is not smart, but he's going to get there. Give the guy some time. I'm not too fussed about the fact that he's not in that World Cup side. There's many more opportunities coming for him in the future, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be there and one of the greats for South African cricket. Sports Heart, AB, as most of the squads are out, what are your top 4 teams for the T20 World Cup 2024? It's a difficult one. I think there are a lot of good teams. I think India, as I mentioned in that ODI World Cup, and I wasn't far off from being right, just a fantastic team because of the IPL as well. 17 seasons of the IPL now. They've got so many incredible young talented players that's come through every single season. So they've built a nice experienced team with all this talent coming through. And those youngsters are becoming senior players now as well. So, and the more it builds up, the more the youngsters just come through from the bottom again. So incredibly healthy system they've got going with the IPL. So India will definitely be one of the 4. I'm going to have to say South Africa, I'm very excited about that middle order. I had a look at that batting lineup yesterday in Stubbs and Markram, Klaasen, just a lot of firepower in that middle overs. And I think they stand a really good chance. Also a really good bowling team, good spinners, experienced spinners, and out-and-out pace in the fast bowling department. I think the wickets are going to offer guys like a Rabada and a Nortje, especially Nortje, who's been a bit quiet in the IPL. The wickets there will offer him a bit more, and there's nothing better than raw pace. You know, you can't buy that at the superstore. It's a raw, genuine talent that someone's got. He's been flying all over the ground in the IPL because the wickets are so good. It will be a different story there in the World Cup. I just realized that I'm holding a little killer whale. It's my little daughter's killer whale toy, and I'm using it as a squeezy toy almost, just to keep my thoughts going. Weird. Anyway, who's the greatest ever ODI batsman? Virat, Tendulkar, Viv Richards, or someone else? Keshav Sharma, thanks for that super fan add of value. It's a difficult one because it's different generations we're talking about here. Viv Richards, I think, was the most impactful ODI player I've ever seen. Just the ability to change a game. Virat, stats-wise, is by a long way the best I've ever seen. Just really consistent. I would have loved to have played in an ODI team with Virat because I would have had a lot more freedom than ever. And that's the kind of setup you want to be in. So Virat, you just do your thing and let the others explode around you. And that's what I want him to do in T20 cricket as well. But obviously, some people out there don't agree with me. But Viv Richards, I think, was the guy who could come in. The bowling team would be on top. It would look like it's down and out for the West Indies. And 30 minutes later, West Indies win by 2 wickets. Like out of nowhere, super magical talent Viv Richards had. So I think from an X-factor point of view, a guy could win you a game out of nowhere. Viv Richards, probably the best of all time. Tendulkar, I haven't spoken about him, but he was in that same era where he's very similar to Virat in a way. Can be explosive, but his strength was always to keep things together, to be very consistent, to play well under pressure, to read the situation well. So tough question. I think stats-wise, you got to go with Virat. But if there was another log of X Factors, best of all time, Viv Richards would be there. Thanks, Keshav. The direct hit. Thank you for that. Thoughts on Shikhar versus Sam Curran, the captain of Punjab Kings? It's a difficult one. That Shikhar I know very well. I played with him at Delhi Daredevils many years ago in the first few years of the IPL. And Sam Curran, very experienced player. I almost want to say youngster, but he still feels like a youngster to me. When I started playing, he was very young, and he still looks so young. So you almost want to say youngster, you know. But just a fantastic all-rounder, and he's had a good season with bat and ball in hand. You know, he's actually batting really well. He's got an opportunity to bat higher up the order, which I absolutely love. Also nice to see someone like Akshar Patel batting up the order. And just great to see those players that I've always earmarked as actually really good batters, but because they have the reputation of being frontline bowlers, they're almost overlooked as batters. So it's great to see them up the order. All right, guys, I think that is us. I need to go get that fire lit up. I need to get the family ready, defrost the meat. We're going to have a braai over here in South Africa. It's Saturday afternoon, and it's just fantastic to celebrate life with my family. Thank you very much for all the love. Thanks for partaking in this week's 360 Live, or this weekend's 360 Live, rather. And I will catch you guys with this up-and-coming 360 show this week, where there will be a lot more direction in that IPL log, right? There's some big games coming up today and tomorrow, some must-wins. Some teams can't afford to lose anymore, and we're going to find out a lot more about where that log is heading over the next few days. Follow me on socials, guys, Twitter, Facebook, and or X Facebook. What's the other one again? Instagram, sorry. And we just saw, there we go. Thank you, guys. Instagram, ABW17 there. Also, go get glued in front of that television screen. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be an absolute belter of a game. Bengaluru and Gujarat head-to-head there. Match 52 starting at 7:30 p.m. IST. That's 4 p.m. in South African time. I can't wait. And I will see you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Yep, subscribe to that channel, and I hope you had fun. See you guys soon. Have a great weekend.